been feeling like I'm academics. Can't ride away.
Who's on that case? You know, I interviewed him. He's called the $1 billion lawyer. You know who was also in court with him today? YNw Melly. YNw Melly, he was in court and Melly was looking for bail. And this is essentially what happened. Let's get to it.
I put this in a motion when the 2018.
Okay. I'll give you the short of it. Melly was actually turned down. He got turned down for bond, and he wasn't happy, if you ask me.
And that's why the court actually
February the 12th.
Okay. I'm trying to find that particular part. Now, if you don't know, Melly's been locked up for 7 years, and he's awaiting this murder charge or murder trial. This would be his second one. He went through one already, and that ended in a mistrial. And this time around, he's still trying to get some type of bail if they're not going to have the trial shortly. And he went for bail, but he was also sitting there being accused of witness tampering. Let's go back. And
2018.
he shares the same lawyer as Dirk, which is Drew Finland. I wonder if we can get a bite size. Here we go. Give me a second. Where is the Melly files at? God damn. I might have to go on social media. Because everyone was running the story saying he looked unhappy with his lawyer. Which I don't think is the case. But here is the video. And by the way, he has cut his hair. He has kind of a new look. Could I find it? If I can't find it, I don't know. YNw Melly. It's a 57-minute video. I don't want you guys to sit through the whole thing. But that's Drew Finland.
Okay, let me go on the record. This is on the top of my page 2, State versus Jamel Demons, 23-10594 CF10A. I've got Ms. Bucklew, Mr. Griffiths here in person. I've got Ms. Jamel Demons cell and conditions of confinement, counts 1, 3, and 4, and 5, excuse me. Electronically filed December the 29th, 2025. The defense motion for additional time to file motion to suppress.
Okay, let's hear the arguments.
We're going to try to reach that resolution outside of the court's involvement.
If you do need me to hear that, and this is the gang activities would be bifurcated. So, Ms. Bucklew, you're moving to do that yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then based on that, without objection from the state, that one's going to be granted. The trial will go forward as to counts 1, 3, and 5 only for purposes of what the jury sees. I'm going to call those counts 1, 2, and 3, but on our information, it's count 1, tampering with a witness in a capital felony, count 3, solicitation to commit tampering, and count 5, conspiracy to commit tampering.
And Judge, I took this order.
Oh, okay. Let's see what you got.
Okay. I'm trying to get to the meat and potatoes of this shit.
Happy to do that. Indicating the 3 counts that would be.
It's underlying facts of the murder case. Particulars. State provide, but we don't know what.
Okay, well, the clip everyone's talking about is this clip here. Check this out.
Mama, please don't you cry.
Okay. It doesn't really have audio, but they they're looking at this to say his body language looks like he's unhappy with his legal team after he was denied yet again a chance of bail. Remember, he's been locked up for 7 years. And, he did pick up some new lawyers. I'm here to tell you that's not true. He got the best lawyer that he could get. He has Drew Finland. Dirk got Drew Finland. It's this guy here is the guy who got young boy out of his situation. This guy makes magic happen. And, the reality is they're not going to let somebody out on any type of bail if you're accused of a double homicide and a homicide of your friends. Like, it's no way they're going to believe that you are not someone of a danger just based on the allegations. So that's why he hasn't gotten out on bail, and I wouldn't expect him to, okay? But yeah. Was there anything else on that? Oh, and like Dirk, he's also had these like really unfair confinement status. They said Dirk is in isolation. They said what's also happened is when it comes to Melly, check this out. This is the witness tampering stuff. So it says Demons is so Melly is charged with tampering with a witness, solicitation, tampering with a witness, and conspiracy to tamper with a witness and directed activities of a criminal gang. Cortland Henry and Mathis were charged with these same offenses, but they resolved their cases. The accusation in summary is that Demons had Mathis contact Henry to pass a message to so-and-so who was listed as a witness in Demons' case. The message allegedly was intended to encourage her to withhold testimony, evade the legal process, and be absent from the trial. In order to have a fair trial and respect Demons' right of confrontation is guaranteed by Article 1, Section 2, 9, and 16 of the Florida Constitution and Amendment, the state should prohibit from introduce the following. So, wow, 1090 Jake is actually mentioned here. 1090 Jake is apparently a YouTuber who touts his membership and knowledge of a gang called the Bloods. 1090 Jake describes the Bloods' statement during the video. The videos do not prove any material fact in this case. Any statements by 1090 Jake would be hearsay. It would violate Demons' right to confront witnesses. So it looked like this is his own attorneys trying to make sure that 1090 Jake's videos can't be used. TikTok video of Neek Baby. So Cortland Henry is a charged defendant, co-defendant in this case. His case has been resolved. The TikTok video of Neek Baby was created by Cortland's girlfriend, YNw Melly. He didn't participate in the video and made no statements in the video. The video is not relevant to the crime. So they're saying no, they don't want the TikTok videos in there. Then there's some statements by this person. Then here's a phone call by Bortland and his girlfriend. It said there's a phone call and issue that occurred after Henry was arrested for the case and the case of witness tampering. State has listed a number of calls in the discovery. These calls would have occurred after the time in the information or the crimes allegedly occurred, because Cortland Henry was not in custody during the time of the alleged admission of these calls against him would be irrelevant and also immaterial to the charges at that time, to the extent that the state may attempt to introduce these calls under the theory of a co-conspirator hearsay. Any alleged conspiracy would have had ended as Henry was not in custody during the time of the charge information. Okay, so they're trying to suppress and throw things out. Okay. So now this is about his confinement. Motion to inspect and photograph his cell, which is his jail cell. Melly moves the court to hopefully make this order directing the Broward Sheriff's Office to permit counsel to inspect and photograph his jail cell in current condition of confinement. He's charged with tampering with a witness, directing activities of a street gang, solicitation to tamper with a witness, and conspiracy to tamper with a witness. Various notes have been provided in the discovery that were found in other inmate cells. In anticipation that the state will attempt to prove that Demmons sent those notes to those inmates, so it looked like they're saying that he's communicating with the inmates through notes. Demmons has been in solitary confinement for years, including during the time alleged in the information. His conditions of confinement are relevant to the defense in that the conditions attempt to prevent Demmons from any human contact with others. Human contact and social interaction are basic human needs necessary for mental, physical health. Okay. So yeah, there we go with that. Interesting. So it looked like the motions that kind of happened. This Melly case is so
of a criminal gang. Demons is charged in count 3 with solicitation to commit phone calls being gang activities that are
interesting.
You track the statute for burglary, and then you say to wit, and you list the victim of the burglary, the location of the burglary, the property that was taken. For every grand theft crime that your office files an information, you track the statute, and then you put to wit, and then you put here's the property taken, and here was the value. For every robbery information that your office files, you track the statute, and then you say to wit, and you put the victim of the crime, the force that was used, the property that was taken. So based on that, I am going to grant it. I don't know, by reading the statute and by reading the information, the jury's going to be told that Mr. Demmons is charged with initiating or organizing or planning or financing or directing or managing or supervising some activity. So they need to know what that activity is. So state, I'm going to grant the defense motion for statement of particulars as to count 2. I'll give you 10 days to file a statement of particulars, understanding our time constraints here, but the fact that this count's going to go last and the other counts are going to go in front of it. So it's granted with 10 days for the state to file the statement.
Okay, so it looked like they're about to get to pre-trial if this is not pre-trial already. And they're dealing with a bunch of issues. Remember the last case that Melly went through turned into a mistrial because they couldn't make up their minds on if he was guilty or not. Supposedly there was a fan of Melly on the jury pool that made it in to make the decision, and they would not convict him, and it turned to be a hung jury, which led to the mistrial.
This will continue to get on that one. Granted, the state has 10 days to file a statement of particulars as to count 2. Ms. Howard, I think that leaves your pending motion for additional time to file a motion to suppress.
Yes, and Judge, frankly, I had hoped to have that done. I just have not had the time doing some of these other things. So I would ask if in fact, I wasn't sure whether it actually tracks the dates that Judge Murphy already has ruled would be admissible.
Okay, well, we will see. All right.